Jamie the Kid 00 here, coming to you guys with a deck profile / tournament report of a deck you guys have actually been asking me to build and I've been beating around the bush for ages, and that is traditional H.A.T. Hand Artifact Traptrix, probably one of the most popular decks of the format, of the last format, and of this format. It's a deck you've been asking me to build, and I've been testing all sorts of different things, including Fat, which I profiled recently. And now I figured a few of my friends told me to actually get down and test the normal H.A.T build. So I finally put together my own list and took it to locals. The small one that I won with Sylvans last week. And I ended up going X and 1 after 5 rounds, only losing to Koaki Meru's actually. I won a H.A.T mirror and I won 2 kind of H.A.T variant mirrors against the zombie H.A.T, which you will have seen in one of my videos, and against Hero Control, which is very similar to H.A.T in my opinion in the way it plays, because it's very control-y. Those are both going to be on my channel later on because they're all duels, which I recorded last week with Sylvans. But I ended up coming third. I ended up winning this premium gold box. We were out of normal boosters, sadly, so the prize support was a bit thin. But I've never actually had one of these, so I figured I would actually open it on the channel in this deck profile for you now. So I'm going to open it at the end, give you a reason to stick around or skip to the end. But I'm going to profile the deck now. So I'm going to do the side as well. Like, I very rarely do this, and my side is very trollsy. Like, I made a few troll picks because this small locals is a lot more casual than the bigger ones that I attend. But the side is pretty trollsy, but it worked out, I suppose. So for the main deck, I play 3 Traptrix Mid-Melio. You have to open this. This card lets you go first and not have to worry about the inherent -1 of going first, and that is the exact reason why I like these. The one Traptrix Dioneer, I love this card to pieces. I would play 3 if it wasn't so inconsistent in playing 3, because if you play 2 of this, you will see it before Mid-Melio. It is a rule of the game that you will see this before this if you play 2, and you will sometimes see this before you see any of your Mid-Melios. And it's just a fact of life. And like, drawing this early is really, really bad because H.A.T has to be so careful with its resources. It has to manage its resources so well. So the one Dioneer is perfect because you're almost always going to see it after the Mid-Melio because you're only playing the 1. But the only sad thing is that once you use that 1, unless you Emerald or Dichotomy it, it's gone. So that is something that kind of upsets me. Then onto the H of H.A.T, we play 3 copies of Fire Hand and 3 copies of Ice Hand. They're fairly self-explanatory. The cards are just so good, and I don't see why you play the deck without them at the moment, because they generate so much advantage on their own. And I then play 2 Artifact Morale Tech. Now I'm going to talk about this again here because a few people didn't seem to listen to me in my Fat deck profile. I only play 2 Morale Tech and 3 Sanctum. That is because Morale Tech is a very dead draw, and playing 3 of it inherently means you're playing 3 pretty dead draws in a deck where you really can't afford to be deck drawing, in a deck that's meant to be very consistent. So I only play 2, and to counterbalance the fact that we're playing so few, I'd also play Daigusto Emerald and of course the Pot of Dichotomy, which means you're more than likely going to be able to put 1 back before you find your 3rd Sanctum. On the flip side as well, the 3rd Sanctum is a lot less dead on your back row because it can trigger in either player's turn when it's destroyed by your opponent's card effect, as far as I'm aware. Just going to double check it. Yes. So there's a lot less of a dead draw when it's sitting on the back row, especially in things like the mirror where the opponent is going to be destroying your back row fairly consistently with special summon Mid-Melios and Ice Hands. So cutting Morale Tech, which is the more dead draw, down to 2 is pretty good, and you have ways to make the 3rd Sanctum live, even though you almost never see that 3rd Sanctum unless you open all 3, which I've done once. But that's it. Can you mute the laptop, please? Thank you. Facebook noises in the background. What are you gonna do? And then the last monsters I play are 2 copies of Karkadi. These were okay. I would consider dropping these for something else, but they fit the bill. I really like Karkadi in the situations, especially in mirror matches or in control games, where you've got a hand just chilling there. They can't really do anything about it, so you just summon the Karkadi, tribute it, and pass. Like, it just gets you +1 on your +1 on your opponent in that situation. So I just really like it. So that's the monster lineup. I believe it was somewhere in the region of 14 monsters. For the spells are a few one-offs, a very large amount of power cards in my opinion, and I really like my spell lineup. So it's 1 Dark Hole. This is just so good in the long game where you're grinding. If you can bait your opponent into putting lots of cards on the field when you've got a hand set, they start assembling a field to eventually get around the hat. So to eventually get around the hand, you can just Dark Hole it. Like, there are situations where I had 1 hand and my opponent had 3, and I was just like, you know what, I'll take the bullet. So Dark Hole is good in those situations. The One Book of Moon, because it's an incredibly versatile card. Just it works in so many situations. It's uncanny. The One Mind Control. So many people say don't main this, and I completely see where they're coming from. Against some more rogue matchups, it is going to be really, really bad. But every time I've drawn this so far, it's been so strong, and I'm not cutting it. Like, call me bad for playing it, but it's going to be my risky card, like my risky pick of the main deck, because it's just so strong, especially in any of the control mirrors. I absolutely love Mind Control. Of course, it's abysmal against Sylvans, but you have to have a bad matchup for it. The One Soul Charge, I activated this once all day. I mean, it was okay, but I would easily cut this for something better. And I then played one Pot of Dichotomy, because you need to recharge your deck. There were situations in which I did open this kind of early. I opened it dead a few times, but the fact that you have to offset some of your main deck policies, like as I said with the 2 Morale Attack, you have to be able to offset that and repair it. Dichotomy is a card that you kind of have to play in the main, because I didn't play it in my Fire version. You really need to. I then play 3 Duality, because slow deck is slow. Getting to your good pieces is kind of important. You have to get to the traps you need to fill in the kind of things you can't account for. And then I play 2 Forbidden Lance, because it's so strong in any control mirror. And it's also a good battle trap, so I really like that. So that's all the spells, and then that brings us on to what I believe is about 15 traps. So we're going to start off with the 3 copies of Artifact Sanctum, the incredibly strong card, which I'm really not going to talk about that much, because it's such a power trap. Just it and Morale Attack are so good for just stopping almost any play. I then play Triple Prison. Some people disagree with this, but I really think Triple Prison is important at the moment, especially with the hands. Some people go aggro with their hands for silly reasons, so I feel like it's just very important for those situations. I then play Double Wiretap. Again, another one that I received criticism for, but there are so many situations in which I'm playing control mirrors. Also, most of my locals I go to now are very control-oriented. And this was kind of a meta call, because those control mirrors, I really wanted an out to my opponent's wiretaps and their warnings, so I wanted to have an extra wiretap, and also for things like Blackhorn. So the double wiretap was there. The one call, it's solid. I'd take out Soul Charge before I took out call. Definitely 1 is very strong. I wouldn't cut it to 0, and I wouldn't increase the number. 1 Breakthrough, so strong against Dweller, which is a big card in the mirror. 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device, very important. 1 Void Trap Hole. I'm not going to talk about this too much. If you know why it's in here, you know why it's in here. If you don't, you don't. 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, so important, but it's worth cutting 1 for Void. 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, very strong. 1 Torrential, and 1 Solemn Warning. And Torrential is a very important card that you have to learn to play well. Like, I cannot stress that enough. It's a card that can be used with great amounts of versatility in the, especially in the mirror, but also in multiple matchups. Very important card. For the extra deck, we play 1 Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. I never made this card. 2 number 101 Silent Honor Arcs. I could consider cutting 1 because I only made 1 all day, but the second one is in there. It's a really strong option. It's something you need. Double Abyss Dweller. Similarly, I only ever made 1 all day. But at the same time, I didn't really see that many hands in my matchups where I played against people who were playing hands, so I never really needed the second. But I feel like in long games, or in kind of game states where my opponent draws more favourably, especially into their hand engine, I feel like I'll need the second Dweller. I then play 1 Black Ship, because it's a very important card for burn, and it's a 1 game with its burn. Cowboy, similarly, a 1 game for burn, so burn was a big thing today. 1 Diamond Direwolf, just for instant removal. I never actually made this. 1 Kane Gorgon, I made this and it got bottomless. 1 Roach, this was for Light Swans and I never came up against them. Rhapsody, similarly for things like Light Swans and certain Sylvan situations, but I never came up against those decks and I never made it. 1 Emerald, recycling your pieces is very important, recycling your morale tax, your Diania, things like that. Very strong card. 1 Utopia, because this card is actually very strong and very good for protecting certain cards, like your hands, from things like Dweller, Merageist, and other cards like that. It's just a very important card in my opinion, and it also means your opponent is going to have to wait at least 2 turns to start rushing you with hands because of the fact that this card can negate attacks. My Trollsy pick of the extra deck was number C39 Utopia Ray. I wanted to be really degenerate, because a few of my friends have started testing Utopia again, and he kind of sits on the board for ages. So because I was playing Mind Control, I wanted to play Ray, and also there have been situations where I test this deck and I become very, very low on life points. So I wanted to have the Saki Utopia Ray play to get out of those situations where I could swing for 4k and probably win the game because of Utopia Ray. So it was something I tried out. I wouldn't recommend playing it at all, but I had a lot of fun with it. And then I played one Constellar Pleiades because you can make it with 2 morale tech. So that is the complete main and extra. I'm going to go on to the side. The side is the trollsiest thing on the planet. I would not recommend playing the side deck. I would not play it again either. So I played Triple Maxi because push decks are a thing, Sylvans and whatnot. 2 Noblemen for the Mirror and the Gigia matchup. 2 MST because I don't feel you need the 3. There's no real floodgate cards you want to hit, so 3 is kind of irrelevant. You only really want to side into. Double Wiseman's Chalice, this was for the Mirror. I had a lot of fun with this in theory, but in practice, I put this in 3 out of my 5 games and I never found it. I put in 1 Soul Release because I could only find my 1 Soul Release, but this was for Light Swans and I never boarded it in because I didn't play Light Swans. Memory for the Mirror, but I never drew it. 2 Vanities for things like Mermail and Sylvan, never played against the matchup. And 2 different Dimension Ground for things like Mermail and Sylvan and Light Swans, and I never played any of those matchups. So that was that. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the deck profile and whatnot. And if you hung around for this, then we're finally going to tear this thing open. I've actually never opened one of these before, and I know the way they're packaged inside is horrible. It's just like a special edition in a box. I hate these as well. I hate when they break up. Right, let's get into this. I know I say I've never opened one of these, but I have loads of cards from the set. Like, I just did trades when this came out. Premium Gold! Prize! My one thing that I got for my top. So let's see what happens. I'm still waiting on Astro Pack 5. Both my locals that I went to over the weekend let me down. Both of them didn't manage to get in Astro Pack 5 in time. So, what is life? Right, so we're going to take these out. Is this the gold secrets on the top? No. So we're going to start with the traditional gold res and work our way through to the big ones. So the first card we got is Crane. I actually needed this. A friend of mine has a misprinted one, and he wanted me to get a Crane in to trade across to him. So Crane. Gaga Magician. Interesting enough, but I already have a few of these in Super, and I prefer them in that. Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. I have ultis, so oh well, could be better. Jinzo, always good to see. Always good trade bait, in my opinion. Like, he trades really well for me. Plague Spreader Zombie, again, a really good card to have. People will be looking for that. Judgment Dragon, very, very good pull, because so many people are looking for cheap, shiny JDs at the moment, so that's a good card to see. MST, again, another card which is always good to see in the pull, so I'm pretty happy with that so far. Bottomless Trap Hole, I already have my CP one, but hey, people will have that off me. Mind Control, my guy, this card was so good, I'm so happy to have. It's kind of ironic that I would pull one. And we're actually moving on to the Gold Secrets now. So we're going to start off with BL's, a very, very nice pull. I'm very happy to pull BL's, so he's going in the binder straight away, because I've already got 2 myself, but BL's is great. Give me Puppet Drury Doll, I needed some of these, so that's always good. Wind Dragon of Ra, very tradable actually. The God cards from this set trade so well, so that's a really nice Gold Secret. Dinotherium, I needed a 3rd one of these, so wonderful. Infernity's Yo. Give me Puppet Humpty Dumpty. That's kind of one I'm sad about, but oh well, this is a pretty good pack so far. And the final card is Power Tool Mecha Dragon. So yeah, guys, that brings me to about the end of this. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm pretty satisfied with this Gold Series pack. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and stay tuned for some pretty cool things which are coming up pretty soon on the channel. So I hope you've enjoyed. This has been Jamie the Kid 00. Peace out. Bye bye.